With Bravely Default 2 set for release in just a little over 3 months, I think it's a good time to talk about the first game in this young franchise. Welcome to this Israel where we talk about all things video games. In this video, I'll be sharing my opinion on one of my favorite JRPG games, Bravely Default for the Nintendo 3DS. Bravely Default was released back in 2014 on Nintendo 3DS to a rather mixed yet positive reception. It was key to note the context leading up to this release. For many years, old school fans of Final Fantasy had always been clamoring for another traditional turn-based strategy in the style of the old Final Fantasy games. Square Enix mainline Final Fantasy series post 10 hasn't always been able to satisfy those gamers, with each game in the series moving further and further away from the foundation set in the old Final Fantasy games. So when Bravely Default was released on the 3DS, a spiritual sequel to the Final Fantasy 4 Heroes of Light on the DS, all the ingredients that harkens back to the high Final Fantasy games of old, fans were excited. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and tell you guys that I've been one of them. I only really became enthralled with the series just about 2 years ago after finishing Final Fantasy VI on the mobile. I was looking for good games to play on my smartphone since I was stuck 5 days in camp anyway. Having heard so many great things about 6, I decided to give the series a shot. Ever since then, the rest is history. Bravely Default tells a very grounded medieval setting story, which many fans of old school JRPGs will truly appreciate. The mainstays and cliché of old Final Fantasy games are present and accounted for, such as magical crystals, evil empires, overworld and transportation options, 4 digits numbers damage, and many more. This, however, doesn't mean that the plot plays it safe throughout the entire game. The plot does go to places where I've not expected it to go. The main party members are, in my opinion, written really blandly. With the exception of one member, most of them are really one-note and one-dimensional characters. It doesn't mean they aren't written well. Some of the banter between the cast does bring a smile to my face on numerous occasions. And at the end of my 47-hour playthrough, I got to enjoy their company. However, these party members definitely pale in comparison to those found in Final Fantasy X and Dragon Quest XI for instance. The other characters in this world are a lot more creative, especially the asterisk holders, which are masters of a particular job. The side quests associated with these characters are mostly a treat to play through, shedding light on this world and its lore while providing fun and challenging encounters for the player to conquer. You can tell they took a lot more liberties in designing and writing these characters, giving them way more personalities than the party. The star of the show in Bravely Default is really the gameplay. Bravely Default is one of the most deep strategy games I've played all year. At the heart of its strategy is the customization available to the player. Bravely Default borrows the job system from old Final Fantasy games like Final Fantasy 3, 5, Tactics, and 4 Heroes of Light. There are a total of 24 different jobs, each representing different unique abilities, stats, speciality, preference of equipment. In addition to a main job, every party member can equip another sub-job where you get to use a different ability than the one you find in your main job. For instance, you can have one character have a performer main job while still being able to cast black magic spells from the black mage job. On top of all of that, you can also equip passive abilities learned from other jobs as well. The amount of different unique playstyles available is absolutely nuts. One of the best feelings in this game is planning and experimenting with all the tools available to you as you try to uncover the most OP combo. And when all of those plans are executed in battle like what you envision it to be, the feeling you get is absolutely amazing. Speaking of battle, this game's combat system is incredibly addicting. The integral mechanic that makes the whole combat system click are the Brave and Default commands. The Brave commands allows one to take up to 4 actions in a single turn, at the expense of 1 BP each. You can take an advance of BP, which will leave your character completely open and vulnerable for the duration where your BP is negative. Conversely, the Default command allows one to forego taking an action in a turn in order to gain a BP. In a default state, one also receives lesser damage. Listening to me speak about this battle system probably got you thinking about all the possibilities that are present, right? Let me just give you a quick example. In this case, one of my damage dealers is dead, while my supporting party members is unable to move due to negative BP from braving earlier. And my only healer is currently silenced, which means I can't cast any healing magic. If this was any other JRPG, I would have been royally screwed. However, because of the Brave mechanic, I'm able to do 4 actions in one turn, which allow me to firstly use an item to cure my silence, secondly, cast white magic spell to revive one of my party members, thirdly, heal everyone, and lastly, raise everyone's speed all in a single turn. Now, just imagine this small case study and apply it to an entire game. It is this frantic decision making process that makes this battle system shine. It really keeps you on your toes with very few downtime to catch your breath, and that is something that I shouldn't be saying about a turn-based strategy game. And this is just only scratching the surface. There are still many factors to take note of, like special moves, weaknesses, buff and debuffs, status effect, summoning. Not gonna lie, when I first got started playing this game, the amount of mechanics definitely overwhelmed me a lot. leading to a lot of game overs. And I feel like the difficulty spikes with some bosses can feel pretty unwarranted. However, that's just the game pushing you to learn how to abuse the system to win. And the game actively rewards you if you cheese and abuse the system, granting you bonuses for not receiving damage or finishing the whole encounter in a single turn. Does this make random normal battle encounter trivial? Yes, it does. However, I believe it's more of a pro than a con, as who here actually enjoys fighting normal enemies littered in dungeons and overworld? I guarantee you, once this frantic battle system clicks with you, it's seriously very gratifying and satisfying to play. Aside from the deep strategy elements present in this game, there are many quality of life stuff available that just makes this game a breeze to play through. Stuff like a clear and concise map with objectives and side quests clearly marked out. The ability to turn on and off random encounters has one wishes, auto battling, fast forward speed, the adventurer who is present just before a tough boss that allows you to save and purchase items in the middle of a dungeon. All of these considerations and options really go a long way in making this game more convenient than all of the old JRPG this game is clearly inspired from. Bravely Default is also known for its presentation. The visuals are definitely a treat to behold on the 3DS, with the standout being the background, which looks like a drawn picture straight out of a fairy tale book. The chibi character models work well with the art style overall to deliver quite a distinct look compared to its 3DS contemporaries. The UI and UX also deserves mention as well. The game can be played entirely on one hand, which definitely adds to the convenience factor. However, the most impressive portion of the presentation is its soundtrack. The amazing soundtrack is composed by the one and only Revo, who is known for his work in Attack on Titans. This soundtrack really bolsters each scene and environment really well. Special shout out goes to the battle teams, including my favourite final boss team out of every single video game I've ever played. In my opinion, it's better than the Final Fantasy classics like One Winged Angel and Dancing Mad. And if you know these games, those are really some stiff competition. The only negative regarding the audio is the voice acting. Personally, I'm a person that really likes cheesy over the top voice direction over the more super realistic direction. However, this game has really some questionable voice direction that comes out a little bit too much.
Then your contract is mistaken. I've heard nothing of the sort. Bah, fine.
The sad part about playing this game in 2020 is really the poor sound quality of the voice acting. It often feels very compressed, which just doesn't sound that good. I understand this is more of a 3DS issue than anything else, since Fire Emblem Echoes also features this very compressed sound quality.
So wait, how did we do that exactly?
From all the points I said so far, you would think this is an incredible game. However, why does it have so many negatives and mixed reaction? Well, it have to do with the last third of the game. To avoid spoilers, I'll just say this part of the game suffers from problems such as rehashing and feeling very repetitive, which result in the pacing of the game's plot to the true ending to feel very laborious. This is the one major complaint and negative of this game, and there are some people who will advise newcomers to not bother with the true ending. I have to respectfully disagree. This game's true ending is absolutely worth the effort to finish. If you can stick through the end, the finale pays off really well. To summarize, Bravely Default is a great tribute to the old school turn-based Final Fantasy games with settings and elements that harkens back to its inspiration, while introducing and evolving the old turn-based combat system to near perfection. The amount of depth and complexity makes this game perfect for any fan of the genre. Bravely Default's presentation still holds up to this day, especially the soundtrack. The only major complaint is the later portion of the game, which can feel rather tiring and laborious to finish. Overall, I'm giving Bravely Default a solid 9 out of 10. It is an incredible JRPG that is fun almost 80% of the time, with only some hiccups leading up to the true ending. I highly recommend fans of JRPG, fans of strategy games to play this game. Just know, once you start this adventure, do try to finish the true ending. Hey, if you want to know where I rank Bravely Default on my favorite 3DS games list, you can watch it right here. I'm still only 13 hours into Bravely Second, but once I finish Bravely Second, I'll be making a review on this channel. So if you don't want to miss it, do press the subscribe button. So long guys, so long.